This is really annoying. It's not letting me put a picture as the background, and I just wanted to bang this out coming on because I have some massive tea to spill about a paranormal investigation that fell through. And why did I hadn't talked about it on here, and I'm having like a really annoying day with the features on here, but I wanted to jump on live just to give you some updates about what's going on here. This is really annoying with this. I'm trying to figure something out, and I'm not figuring this out the way I want to figure this out. It's really fucking annoying. I don't understand why this feature isn't here. No, I don't want to do that. No. Why is this doing this now? This is so annoying. Oh, God. It's so aggravating that it's not letting me. Hi, welcome to the Paranormal Psychic Live. I'm sorry, I'm just having some. What's up, Leroy? It's a Paranormal Psychic Live. So I just wanted to give some updates. I just spontaneously decided to hop on, everyone. I'm just looking for my notes. Thank you. Love you too. Yes, the game is over. I got tea to spill today. I have some major tea to spill about a paranormal investigation that I basically told them to go pound salt, everyone. So if you're ever, hey Bobby, if you're ever interested in conducting a paranormal investigation, we had secured this location here in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. Next week, I'll be in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Thank you. I appreciate that. About, yeah, there's a little bit. I wanted to set a time for all of you, but here's what happened. I got some major tea to spill. We were supposed to conduct an investigation this Saturday evening at the Whitesbog Preservation in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, in Browns Mills. So I had secured the investigation, and we are supposed to do this with 222 PIR, Carmela and Todd, who are on here, YouTube. They have a podcast Monday nights, 9 p.m. New York time. Stay haunted. So I had secured the investigation, and the archivist said, okay, well, it's $20 a person. So I was like, okay, great. Let's do it this Saturday, because next week I'm going live with all of you from Fort Lauderdale, Tuesday, Fort Lauderdale, Wednesday. This is Florida, Thursday, Miami. So the archivist turns around yesterday and says it's not $20 a person, it's $500, and you need to cut a check. Okay. So, first of all, in business, that's bad business. Okay. I told her basically to go pound salt, as we say here on the East Coast, because she owes me an apology. The Whitesbog Preservation owes me an apology, or they're just a bunch of greedy liars, is what it is. It's one or the other. They're, you apologize when you go and you change the price, and then you make all these excuses, and then you're smug and disrespectful on top of it, and you have no class, no intelligence, and no integrity. And I'll tell you this, I will never set foot on those grounds again. I had bought jams for my family in their general store. The Pine Barrens here in New Jersey, if you've ever watched Sopranos, it's 1,000,000 acres of land. I have Pine Barrens videos that I filmed the other day to upload to share with all of you. That's called a really shitty thing to do, and to not even apologize, saying, well, you know what? I quoted the wrong price. I got the smug response of, well, you expect me to memorize numbers off the top of my head? Well, you know what it's called? And I'll say this as a former professor of business ethics. It's called, let me get back to you instead of flapping my stupid goddamn mouth because I don't know what I'm goddamn talking about, instead of shitting on me and acting like a piece of shit because you have no decorum, intelligence, or integrity. That shit pisses me off and gets my Greek North Jersey energy on fire because that's a malaka. Apologize. No, instead of being smug and then like smacking back at me. Okay. And then she had, thank you. Thank you. I wrote a 250-page doctoral dissertation about the oracles in ancient Greece. It is a fourfold methodology of archaeology, mythology, combining archaeology and mythology, and then hermeneutics, which is asking questions about recordings that were never recorded, but we know they were recorded, but we don't have the written records. So this was also, and I had offered to help her go through pictures of this Whitesbog preservation area. This woman, Elizabeth White, pioneered here in New Jersey blueberry bogs. She was the first. It's because of her cranberry bogs. And this archivist has no travel, no culture to her. That Elizabeth White had traveled to Greece. Your university had a big theological department, ancient Greece, very interesting. Been a guest speaker in the Hellenic Studies department here at Stockton University, presenting my doctoral research. I also presented my doctoral research in the divinity school at Harvard University too. So that's why also when I go live, I also educate and I explain different aspects related to the paranormal and the psychic, what it is, what it isn't. And that's one of the reasons why I go live too. Epic handle name. Yeah, I mean, of course, I've taught mythology at the universities. I designed a goddess mythology course for the universities. Of course, yeah. I mean, I love mythology. That's why too, epic handle name. Last month I went live from the Acropolis in Athens, Greece. I uploaded a replay here. I will be back in Greece the end of September and October. And if there's enough interest on here, YouTube, I'd be willing to go live from the Acropolis in October. If there's enough people interested here, I would give that to you in real time. I have not read Stephen Fry's book on Greek mythology. To yeah, I heard the name, but it's not I am not specifically recalling. Have you read Stephen Fry's book on Greek mythology? What's your favorite Greek myth? Epic handle name. I'm trying to think what's one of my favorite. I mean, there's quite a few. When I was at the Acropolis, I was telling the myths. Yeah, there's so many. I know, right? I like the Eros and Psyche myth. That's great for Valentine's Day. That one. I like from the Trojan horse um from the Iliad. Narcissus and Echo, that's a good one too. Yeah, that is. And you see also where that myth, yeah, Narcissus and Echo, you're correct. Yeah, that's the myth. That's one of the myths. That also, yeah. And what morphed from that was the modern day word narcissism, which you could say is overused in the popular culture. But that's where I believe it was Sigmund Freud expanded upon a definition of narcissism. And Sigmund Freud read his Greek myths. We know this from his Oedipus complex. I don't know if you've read Oedipus Rex, but he takes that Oedipus complex from Oedipus Rex. And the one of the main themes in Oedipus Rex is that Oedipus, not intentionally, ends up having intimate relations with his mother. And that's where then Freud takes it all the way to the Swiss bank account and coins the term Oedipus complex, which I don't agree with this, but Freud posited that we all secretly want to have intimate relations, a man with his mother. I don't agree with that, but it is well known regarding Freudian theory. And then for women with their fathers, he refers to that as the Electra complex. So you see that Freud was well read in Greek mythology, and he coined some of his psychology terms from Greek mythology, saying with that. So yeah, there's a lot of great Greek myths. I like the Athena with the weaving with Arachne, and that's the name of the spider web. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot with Greece too, and that's what, for my dissertation, all the archaeological sites I wrote about, I've been to. I just didn't sit in a chair. I wasn't an armchair researcher and wrote chapters. Every archaeological site I discussed in my doctoral dissertation, I've been to. Delphi, many times, Dodona, several times. I wrote about 8 archaeological sites in Crete. The Palace of Knossos, I have been to several times. That was really important for me with my writing and what I was recording too. By the way, the daffodil are also called narcissus because they lurch over, always face the water. Such a beautiful description. That's cool too, and that's great that you're, you know what I mean, because that you have an interest to learn and you're interested in myth too. I did not know that about the daffodil, so thank you for sharing that with us. Like I said, I will be back in Greece the first 2 weeks of October. And if there's enough of you on here, I'd be willing for all of you to go live from the Acropolis. And that live is archaeology and mythology. I do talk about the South Slope and its connection to psychic dreams, but a lot of that live is my archaeological and mythological training. When I'm talking to, walking and talking through the Acropolis, people said, how can you walk and talk at the same time at the Acropolis? Because I've been to the Acropolis over 20 times. I know the terrain. That's why when I went live, I can, yeah, then you know what? I will in October because you would be first on deck, YouTube, for that. um I'll I'm thinking about it because October, it's not as crowded, the Acropolis. It's also, thank you, epic handle name, and I do take suggestions. At the moment, a lot of the views throughout my social media are ghost stories. That's why I post a lot of ghost stories, but that live from the Acropolis too, as I said, I am very well versed in Greek mythology. That's what my cousins have even joked with me, how I know more than them, that they live in Greece. But I mean, I trained many years, as a specialist in mythology and examining the artifacts, because you can't just write about the oracles in ancient Greece. You can't write about the ancient Greek religion without not I've taken ancient Greek, but it's really hard. Latin, no, I never took any Latin. I can read modern Greek, but ancient Greek is tough. I have taken ancient Greek. I have to think some of the translations in the dissertation, the one, if it was ancient, I think it was ancient that I was the first one to translate off of this libation table in the Dictaean cave, which, according to the myth, that's where the god Zeus was born, in Crete. And also, I wrote about Zeus positively as a kind, loving god, because in Crete, that's how he's that's his legacy. That's how he's known on the island of Crete, not these mainland stories. You studied medicine, and if you're looking for content ideas, giving us the etymology for the terms would be very helpful. You're saying that you would give the etymology, or you're saying for me to give the etymology? You studied medicine, so like etymology for which terms? Are you saying with mythology? I see. I have my notebooks in front of me that's saying I have bullet points. All diseases. Yeah, I mean, here, epic handle name. I'll give you an example, right? Um, when I go live at the Acropolis, the South Slope, which a lot of people don't know, uh, about the South Slope, but I wrote about the South Slope during my PhD studies. I went through my uncle's medical books in Greece. uh the South Slope in ancient Greece, you slept there overnight, you had health problems, and the god Asclepius would appear to you in a dream. I say this when I do the live at the Acropolis. I start at the South Slope when it's the first live. Like, let's say with all of you, if I'm live with all of you in October, I start with the South Slope and then I go up to the Parthenon. Um, Asclepius would appear in a dream and he would tell you what medicine you needed to be cured. The therapist would come in the next morning. He would record what you were told in the dream. Then you would be cured. And Asclepius would say, well, when you're cured, return to the Acropolis and leave me a rock as a thank you. My point is, Asclepius, who was also a man that lived on the earth, I mean, he's relegated as a god. He had four children. His oldest child was his daughter Hygeia. So here to go epic handle name with some etymology. His daughter Hygeia, that is where the word hygiene comes from. Yeah, exactly. Epic handle name. Ding, ding, ding. Right. So you see, when you're saying with etymology, that's an example. Yes, with his one daughter. And a lot of the hospitals in Greece are called Asclepians. Like if you're saying I'm going to the Asclepian in Greece, a lot of times you're saying you're going to the hospital to visit someone. They're called, a lot of them, Asclepians. Yeah, there are thousands. You're right. There are thousands of them too. Saying for sure, but it just giving you that example, like narcissism, hygiene. Um, you take the word gynecology, that the gyno is from the Yenithi, which is also birth. Yenithi, gyno, is also with birth. So yeah, there are a lot. It's What about economy in your country? Is the war of Iran effects? Yeah, our gas prices have skyrocketed. Where are you all tuning in from? That helps me. The economy, we're waiting the fallout for food to go up. Prices are going up. That's what's saying that business deal. I told them to go pound salt yesterday. She tried giving the economy crap. The economy, people are struggling here, and I don't really talk politics a lot. You're in Dubai. Okay, very good. I have clients in Dubai. So, and Dubai is not far from Athens, Greece. Um, And where, Remy, are you tuning in from? Yeah, I mean, here we're expecting food prices to go up. They're saying gas is going to be $5. That's US dollars by the end of this month in a couple weeks. Everything's going up, and I have a cousin that he knows the real scoop. There's no fuel. Like if you're hearing in the news, like saying Dubai or Europe fuel shortage, that's a lie. There is no fuel shortage. They're just not willing to open refineries that have, the gasoline, that's needed, the fuel, to not, this is all part of the games that they play. And if you're asking me, we the average people are at their mercy because they break our backs and then they make more money off of us, in the name of war. Okay, one second. Let me just here, one second. Sorry. You got to go in quick. Can you just leave the stuff I'm doing alive? Okay. Sorry, I had to shield, but I wanted to get this live going. Sorry, everyone. Just had to do that quick. But yeah, if you're asking me, I mean, how's the economy in Dubai? I mean, I read with Dubai, about saying, I mean, what we hear here and what's going on in Dubai are often very different. And I know this from when I spend time in Greece because, I'll have friends contacting me. I heard Turkey was, a militaristic action and like, are you safe? And all of this, or something with North Africa, and they think it's around the corner and it's not. And I've seen this when I've been in Greece. Yeah, you can't talk about those. I get it. You can't talk about those things online, unfortunately. I understand. Yeah. And I can only say, from what I read, and when I last had clients from Dubai, it was right before all of this escalated with Iran. It's a really unfortunate situation because lots of people suffer at the hands of these politicians, and I have my theories here why we're involved. If you're asking, there's those of us in the United States, we feel like, why are we always getting involved with Iran? Iran is, far away, not near from us. Why are we involved? Yeah, it's also, and I have, my theories about Netanyahu having our president by the Kuyans. So that's why he's doing what he did, because Netanyahu has scratched his back, his family's back with money. So now we all suffer because of it, because Netanyahu's got wants to, decimate Iran, and now we're in the middle of this when we shouldn't be in the middle of this. But this is all when, that's what's saying, when the elites and the money they have and the games they play and how they exploit us in the name of their egos, their agendas, we suffer because of it. And then they make all this money off of it, and things get more expensive. Yeah, I hope things are safe for you there. And I will be back on next week from Florida. So thank you for subbing, Epic Handle Name. I will see you soon, and stay safe. So, not that I really, and that's the thing. Yes. Blessings and safety to you. To you are in our thoughts and prayers in Dubai. So I don't really like to talk politics on here, everyone. That was a really off the cuff tangent I went on, but I'm speaking what I think, why we're in this position in the United States with Iran. Those are what I think, why we're involved. And the people of Iran are suffering. The war brings fatalities. Women and children are mistreated. It's a really, I want the war to end soon, but I don't think it's going to. I want to be wrong, because I've been saying this in my lives from an astrological analysis. Um, you know, I don't know. The ripple effects are going to be for months to come. It's a real, it's a really awful, ugly circumstance and situation that we're in. My notebook fell with my notes. Let me see if I can pick it up with my feet. One second, I did this with my feet, my notebook. So I like to post announcements when I go on live, but I just wanted to belt this out because, like, for example, those of you, I mean, Epic Handle Name, he's not on now, but right now it's 10:15 in Athens, Greece. So that's why with YouTube, I've been, I've been sometimes starting lives earlier, the sit down lives, because I notice on YouTube, um, s- you know, a good amount of you are from out of the country, out of the United States, where I am. I'm on the East Coast. I'm on New York time. I'm just looking for my notes. I did go live on here with a paranormal expo on Saturday. You can always check out the replay. I will go live at the next paranormal expo, which is June 6th. That's near Princeton University. Just to give you here in the United States, you can basically go to a paranormal expo if you're traveling throughout the country, right? We have 50 states. You There's one every month you could go to, saying this one was in New Jersey. We have another one in New Jersey next month. I plan to go live from there. Let me give you a little bit of what's coming up next week with the lives. Next week, I'm in South Florida. Tuesday, May 12th, I plan to go live with all of you. This is daytime. I haven't mapped out the time, but what I'm going to show you is an investigative locale preview. When we map out where we're going to place equipment for the investigation, I'm going to tell you a couple ghost stories. That will be daytime here on the East Coast in Florida. So that will maybe be Athens, Greece time, 10, 11 p.m., something like that. I'm going to have to map that out more strictly when I'm in Florida. Wednesday will be the paranormal investigation. That won't happen until nighttime. So by the time I get to go live on here, if you're tuning in from out of the country, it's very early morning. And that's in Tuesday, Wednesday are Fort Lauderdale, Florida lives, and Thursday from a cemetery in Miami. And I probably will start with you first, YouTube, because I have 4 lives I do, or I try to do when I go live. Tuesday and Thursday of next week, I probably will start with all of you, YouTube. And then the cemetery in Miami, I'm going to tell you some ghost stories. The good thing here with YouTube is the replays are always available. Like one of my social media channels, they don't get to see most of the replays because also the rules with that social media is if it's over an hour, I can't upload the replay. So they have to catch me live. At least here, if you don't catch the live, I usually most upload. We'll be posting more ghost stories. I believe I just posted one about Dr. James Still. That's a positive ghost story too. The Pine Barrens here, if you've ever heard of the show Sopranos, people in the comments make a lot of jokes about the Pine Barrens and the episode of the Sopranos and the Pine Barrens. I will be posting more ghost story videos the next couple days because the next time I will go live with all of you will be on Tuesday, May 12th, and that's the investigative locale preview. That's at the King Cromartie House in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to show you, like I did with Athens, Greece, mapping out the equipment. And then I'm going to tell you some ghost stories from the river walk there in Fort Lauderdale. Wednesday nighttime will be the actual investigation. Again, Thursday, we will probably go live with all of you first. I will tell you some ghost stories from this Miami cemetery and why I returned to that cemetery. Also, I'm working on planning some really exciting Halloween events for Halloween weekend in Mays Landing, New Jersey. Be working with the owners after I return from Florida with that. So I'm just looking here with this. I posted a little bit. So the Mercury's in Taurus right now. That lessens the impulse energy we had since the end of March with all that Aries energy. Mercury in Taurus is not impulsive in thinking. It's very much a money oriented. So the next couple weeks with money, what are you doing to improve? Where do you have to put your boundaries? Saying I had a negotiation yesterday, I fell through. Like I was telling you, I was really disappointed. I thought I was going to go live with all of you Saturday with an investigation. It's fine because I have lots of lives next week to share with all of you from Fort Lauderdale in Miami, Florida. But what's today? Wednesday, I'll be posting some more ghost stories as well. And I just wanted to give you some updates. Now, he signed off, but Epic Handle name, right? The majority of the videos that I get most views are ghost story videos. If there's more of you that want mythology, and there's a significant amount of you, because I'll say on two of my other social media channels, that community is paranormal focused. And I'll say they even on my one social media channel, they've actually won out from the initial people that followed me because now they're the majority. So I go with what I film with what the majority wants, and it's been ghost story videos. Hi, Nasser. Where are you tuning in from? I have a friend with the last name Hakim. Actually, his birthday's next week. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. That's what too. I do sign on the lives from what I see so far with the channel. I do get somewhat of a response to the lives too. So as well. And that's what I'm noticing. That's what's saying Tuesday and Thursday. I plan to go first with all of you with the lives, just because, like saying, if you're tuning in from Abu Dhabi, Athens, Greece, Philippines, right? It's almost 3:30 p.m. here, New York time. It's 10:30 p.m. in Athens, Greece. I think it's 12:30 a.m. in the Philippines. Um, and that's why, because I have a couple of my social media pages, they're mostly people from the United States. So I don't usually sign on, not for a sit down, I don't sign on at this time, only when I've been in Greece because of the time difference too, that I don't do that with them. But that's why when I'm asking all of you, where are you tuning in from, I've made adjustments with the time that I start the lives on here. But probably Tuesday, May 12th. I'm trying to think. It wouldn't be before. I think I hear like a baby bird outside. um Yeah, it sounds like a baby bird. Yeah, it'll probably be somewhere around 3 p.m. that I go live from Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday. Wednesday's going to be late because the investigation has to be nighttime. And then maybe 2 p.m. on Thursday from Miami, just to give you what. So there's going to be, I'd like to go live 3 days with you next week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Fort Lauderdale Tuesday, Fort Lauderdale Wednesday, Miami Thursday. So that's a lot of lives, a lot lives. And then what I do when I'm back from Florida, I do a sit down like this and I talk about the lives, like saying you can watch the Paranormal Expo that I posted on here that I went live Saturday too. We're working on some more lives with that. It shows you, because to say I was in Greece last month, there aren't paranormal expos in Greece. Probably UK has them, Scotland, Ireland, I'm assuming, but probably. And then you have paranormal industry here. So I wanted to hop on quick to let you know that I'm not going live this Saturday, which I was really disappointed about. But the thing too in business, when somebody tries to screw you over, somebody was calling and it froze my screen. So the whole thing in business, when somebody tells you one price for something and then they jack it up 6 times and they expect you to pay, there's no integrity. Those people don't know how to conduct themselves in business. Too, I taught business ethics at the universities. I've been saying this the last couple days with business people how egregious this was, what they did to me, and that I'm not able to bring you this live investigation that I wanted to this Saturday. They ruined it because they're dishonest and they're liars, and I don't like liars. Liars really piss me off saying. So unfortunately, but I've got lots of lives for you next week. As I said, the 12th of May, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all from South Florida. So I wanted to jump on really quick with all of you. You can always let me know what content you're interested in. Too, as I said, I post a lot of ghost story videos because those are the videos on my social media that get the most views. But I do see for here for YouTube, also for what is here, you do hop on to my lives. So I just wanted to sign on quick. Thank you for subscribing to my page. I will be live again. There will be more sit downs. That's that way. If I know where you're tuning in from, it helps me view, like it helps me make the decision what time to have the live. When I was doing these lives on here months ago, it was mostly people from the United States. So I was keeping it compatible with New York time because California is 3 hours behind New York time wise. But it's been shifting where it's more international. Those of you that are tuning in. So I'm happy to have the lives, not in the evening New York time, saying. So I'm still playing around with that with all of you. But again, I will be live next week. If you can tune in, tune in. I will be posting more videos. I just posted one before this live too. And it's a positive, inspirational ghost story spirit video. So check them out. Let me know what you think. You know, give me feedback in the comments. I'll try to accommodate you, and I will see all of you live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida next week. So I'm gonna sign off for now. Have a great week. And I'd love to see you soon. Until next week, everyone, have a great rest of the weekend. If you're in the United States, it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to your mothers. If it's not, Happy Mother's Day to your mothers. And try to tune in next week from Southern Florida. I will try to post a specific time. Until next